Hey guys, GoForce Online here to bring you another one of my trash builds. Now this is a build I did before, it's been a while now since I've done it, but it's the Dragon Knight healer that specializes in increasing your allies' weapon and spell damage. Now since the Markarth patch they have changed up the buffs a fair bit, so this build is about twice as powerful as it was initially when I designed it. So also it's a Christmas special, so I thought I'd do a bit of a Christmas build as an elf. Also a bit of Northern Lights at the back just for a bit of aesthetics. Now let's take a look. So I've got about 39k max magicka there and 17k max stamina. Now I do use about one skill that does use stamina, so having that bit of extra pull there really works well. Spell resistance sitting about 17k and physical resistance about 12k. You do pump out a lot of heals, so you don't have to have your resistances as high. Now my spell damage is sitting at about 2244. So this is unbuffed, so once you buff it up it does go a little bit higher and makes your healing a lot more efficient. And then using the ritual stone, which increases my healing done. Now let's take a look at the sets. So monster set I'm using is Symphony of Blades, which is different than the last time. So last time I used the Earthcore Forge. So this one is that when I heal a target who's, so when I heal an ally whose primary resource is under 50%, they restore 570 of that resource every 1 second. So this is really well because it gives your allies a lot more resources to use, so they don't have to use as many heavy attacks in between their cycles in order to keep their damage up. So this increases their overall damage output if they do use it right. And then secondly I'm using here is Spell Power Cure. So they've increased the buff of Major Courage to 430 from the 200 and something it was initially. So an extra 430 weapon and spell damage to anybody that you overheal. And then next I'm using here is Powerful Assault. So when I cast an assault ability, and I use Vigor as my main assault ability that I cast, myself and up to 5 group members. Now initially it was 4 group members including yourself, but now you can go up to a maximum of 6 targets. Within 10 meters, gain additional 307 weapon and spell damage. So initially this build could produce about 400 extra weapon and spell damage. Now with all these new changes, they can go up to about 700, over 700 weapon and spell damage that you're supplying to your group, which is really nice. And then you also have buffs that so the 20% and 10% buffs on top of that. So it increases your group's output altogether very nicely. Now I do have I'm only using Vigor on the front bar, so I do have the Powerful Assault on the front bar. And then on the back bar, I just have a crafted staff that increases my healing done when I swap over to it. Don't spend a lot of time on the back bar, so it's just a bit of extra healing once I'm there. Alright, let's take a look at these skills. So on the front bar, I'm using Combat Prayer, so it heals for about 7k and also grants Minor Berserk, which increases their damage done by 5% instead of the initial 8, so it does lose a bit of power there. But the physical and spell resistance gain is about twice as much as it initially was, so at 2900 there. Then secondly is Echoing Vigor. So it heals for about 8,600 over 10 seconds. But this is the assault ability that gives me or activates Spell Power Cure, or sorry, Powerful Assault, not Spell Power Cure. It can activate Spell Power Cure, but this activates the Powerful Assault. And because it uses stamina, you can spam this a fair bit. And then next I'm using Franklin's Shield, so it supplies a shield to everybody in the area for about 1,300, but it also gives me Major Mending, which increases my healing done by 16% for 6 seconds. Now Major Mending is not as powerful as it once was, but still that 16% boost definitely comes in handy, so you need to make sure when you're using this, you're activating heal afterwards. That's very powerful. Next I have here is Cleanse, so it removes up to 3 negative effects from the group members. This works really well if you have a raid boss that applies a lot of dots or negative effects on your group members, so you can cleanse them off and do some healing there at the same time. But this skill is very expensive, so make sure when you use it that you're using it correctly. At 7,000 magicka, it's expensive to cast. And then next I have here is Radiant Regeneration. So this is a bit of a flex spot. You can do a skill that heals for a larger area. This build is specifically designed for 4-man dungeons, so regeneration works well there. If you're going to go for bigger groups, then definitely use a skill with a larger area of effect, or that affects more targets really. Anyway, so it heals for 24k over 10 seconds, so that's about 2400k healing every second, so make sure to activate this once in a while. And then Reviving Barrier is the ultimate, so it grants a damage shield that is about 39k there, and it lasts for 30 seconds. And it also heals anybody, so everybody that has a shield also gets the healing for about 21k health over 15 seconds. So if you're running into a lot of trouble, activating this skill will definitely get your group members through that hard content. And then on the back bar, first one I have here is Cinder Storm. So this is just an AoE heal for about 2,500 1 second, and it lasts for 18 seconds. So it's a ground cast ability. And next I have here is Lustrous Healing, also a ground cast ability, and it heals for 2,400 initially, and then 2,400 every 1 second for 12 seconds as well. And then Energy Orb, so basically just point and shoot. Whichever direction you should aiming at releases a ball of energy that heals everybody in the area. But more importantly, it also grants a synergy, so you have a lot of builds, especially in trial groups, that rely on synergies, so healers need to activate a lot of synergies. So this one here will heal for about 9k and also restore some magicka and stamina as well. So a very nice one to have as a synergy, and also when they activate a synergy they get extra bonuses through their passives as well. And then Igneous Weapon, so it increases all my group members for nearly a minute. So Major Brutality and Sorcery, increasing the weapon and spell damage by 20%. And also activating this skill, there's a passive that also grants all my group members Minor Brutality, which increases their weapon damage by another 10%. So activating all of these skills, I can boost a group member's spell damage by about 887 and their weapon damage over 900. So that is me supplying my buffs will increase their weapon spell damage by over 800 on both sides. And then Sanguine's Altar. This is a flex spot. I just like having it here because it's a set and forget skill. So activating it, it costs health and also then applies minor lifesteal to the enemies. So every time an ally attacks an enemy, they heal for that 875. It also has a synergy there that an ally can activate if they have to activate a synergy. And then lastly here is Aggressive Horn. I like putting this on the back bar instead of the front bar, because the front bar is my, oh crap, there's big stuff happening, something's gone wrong. Whereas the back bar, I have a little more time, it's like, alright, it's going really well, let me increase my group's damage output, activate this. So it increases the max magicka and stamina by 10% for all the group members for 30 seconds, and also applies Major Force, increasing their critical damage by 20% for 10 seconds. So that's pretty much it. So on the back bar you have your ground cast abilities, so that's the one there. And then you have the second one, so Initial Orb. So mostly there, so it does the healing and also applies that synergy. And then activating that seal, so what, 54 seconds of Major Brutality and Sorcery, and also that Minor Brutality there. But most of the time we spent on the front bar. Definitely spamming the skill to get that minor force up, and then vigor as well. So if you take a look, that is 3,500 now from what it was initially. So vigor can also activate the spell power cure, and so very nice skill to have there. Not massive on the healing, but the passives it supplies is really nice. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. If you like the content I'm putting out, please hit that like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas for builds that I need to do in the future, please let me know in the comments down below. A Merry Christmas and stay safe. Bye.